In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the extension in Adobe Illustrator that allows us to connect ArcGIS Pro to the Adobe environment. And so to turn this on, what you need to do is go into Illustrator at the top, go to the Windows tab, come down to Extensions, and there should be on your Purdue computer an ArcGIS Maps for Adobe Creative Cloud option here. Once I click on this, what's going to come up is a series of options. This is where we want to go ahead and sign in using ArcGIS Online. We're going to use our organization's URL here at Purdue. That's Purdue University, all one word, and then hit continue. It's going to then ask you to sign in with two-factor authentication. So I'm going to allow you to do that on your own, and I'm going to go ahead and hit pause and log in. All right, so now I've gone ahead and logged in, and you're actually going to see that it pops up a little ArcGIS maps and map boards. For right now, we're not going to go ahead and use this feature. Really what we're going to do is that we've already created our map elsewhere, and so I can actually go ahead and close out those features. I'm going to go back into ArcGIS Pro now. So here in ArcGIS Pro, this is our New York City example that we've been working with in the skill development activities. You need to go ahead and turn this into this layer into a layout view. You've already done this in past assignments, so I'm going to go ahead and hit pause while I prep a layout view, and then I'll show you how to go ahead and export this out to Illustrator. All right, now that I've got this layout view set up, and again, I do most of my final kind of map creation and title blocks and everything actually out in Adobe. And so, I've got a scale, a graphic scale I can use. I've got a north arrow, so I've confirmed those details. And I've got a legend that I can actually use as a graphic later on as well. But what we're going to do now is first I'm going to go ahead and save my project. Always a good idea for everybody, and so quick reminder to do that. But once we've done that, we're actually going to come over and we're going to click on Share, and underneath Share you're going to find the Export Layout button. And this is how we go ahead and make our Adobe layers. So what we're trying to keep together here, and the reason to use this extension is that we want to maintain the layers that are here in ArcGIS. We want to maintain them in Adobe products so that we can individually edit each of these layers. In order to do that, what you need to use is .aix, and so .ai files are actually Adobe Illustrator. AIX is a special file type here. It means it's locked unless you have the extension. So Adobe Illustrator extension is what this stands for. I'm going to go ahead and save this out. Layout, that'll work. Go ahead, and one of the important things, clip to graphics extent. This is important because it actually allows us to cut down, right, because the rest of Manhattan's on here. And what it's actually going to do is it will automatically cut down the quantity of information going out in these layers, meaning that we know in our map view that there is data that goes well off the screen. This will actually go ahead and crop it down to basically the layout. It's usually a little bit further than the layout. It usually sticks out a little bit over here. You can do some interesting things graphically with that extra space laying out, or you can just go ahead and crop it out later when you're in Photoshop. Anyway, there's a few options that kind of jump in here. One of the most important, obviously, is what is the resolution you're wanting to go out at. 150 is pretty good. 200 is better. I'd almost never go above that. Unless I'm printing off like a wall size map, in which case you're gonna chew up processing time. But all you need to do now is that once you've got your AIX file, know where it's saving to, set your resolution, you hit export. I'm gonna do this and pause the video, and I will meet back up with you in Illustrator. All right, now we're in Illustrator. I'm going to go ahead and open up my file. I've got it saved here in my project, my skill development folder. Remember, layout.aix is what I named it. I'm going to go ahead and hit open. What's going to happen now is that there are a number of other features. Again, it's going to pop up these other map compilation layers, and you can feel free to go explore that on your own. But realistically, the reason that I'm introducing this tool to you is because what you're going to see now is that we now have editable layers here in that we can turn on and off in Adobe Illustrator. And the upside to that is that we can come in and select, let me actually go ahead and try and select all of the layers associated with my layout. That's what I'm hunting for right now here in my layout menu. Or in my layer menu. All right, map frame. it's one of these down through here. There's my tree layer. Okay, that's what I'm hunting for right there. Is that, oh, it's called DCM. I forgot that's what it's called. Anyway, one of the things you can do here real quickly is that you can go ahead and modify the stroke on it. What that'll allow you to do is that if you wanted, you can go ahead and turn that into a dashed line. It looks okay. I mean, realistically with parcel data, that often is something that we do this to frequently, where we'll come in and we'll change this up. And maybe, you know, in this case, we want a better dash line. We can do a 5x2 gap and go ahead and drop that in. Take a look at, take a look at what it's created. Might help if I'm on the right tool. You can see you can change that up. We can also change the colors and do other things here as well, just to make some additional adjustments. To how things look graphically. Now, I will tell you right now, I didn't bring over any raster layers, and there's a pretty simple reason for this. Illustrator is not fantastic with raster layers. It often does weird things. So what I tend to do is I tend to only turn on the layers in ArcGIS Pro that are vector data. I export my vector data this way, and then I separately export out the layout view for raster data. So aerial photographs, even the background base maps. I tend to go ahead and just separate and kick those out as a TIFF, and then in Photoshop bring them all back together. Anyway, this is basically what you can do here in the Illustrator environment. And when you are done, what you want to do is that you should probably save a copy of, save the working copy of this. But one of the things that you should also go ahead and do, no, I want to, save on my computer. That's fine. Is it allows you, oops, I'm sorry. It's not, we need to export again, not save as. Export as, and here you're going to export it as a Photoshop file. It's going to kick it out into Photoshop. One of the things that you can do in Photoshop that you can much faster than you do here in Illustrator is you're going to notice that there's a lot of different layers here, some of which have some odd things. It's going to come into Photoshop with extra folders. The layers will be all out of order. So my recommendation is the first thing you do is go in, once this is in Photoshop, go in and clean up your layer structure, clean up your layers, merge layers that make sense to merge together, and kind of move on from there. And that's basically it. This is ArcGIS, the extension from, I need to grab the name again, ArcGIS Maps for Adobe Creative Cloud, and that's how we use it.